And so maybe I could invite you to just say a few words about yourself and the work you do.
Sure. Well, I mean, Inside Time is a publication that's been around since 1990. We were launched, and for 35 years now, we've been serving the prisoner population of the UK. So we circulate print copies to every month to every prison, and we're very widely read, very popular on the wings. The prison officers tend to put a bundle on every wing, and it goes very quickly. People are very keen to get our paper because it's full of news and information about the justice system, about prisons, and it's got crosswords, it's got cartoons, and it's a voice for prisoners. Our slogan is a voice for prisoners because we publish in every issue about 9 pages of readers' letters, which is an outlet for prisoners to have their views heard, whether it's on things that are going wrong in their prison, and a lot of our letters are complaints about the prison system, um, whether it's or about wider issues, whether it's about politics or religion or what have you. So it's a debating point and a point, a platform for prisoners to be heard, who are often silenced in other media. It doesn't really reflect prisoners' point of view. So yeah, we do something very quite unique. Other countries don't have national prison newspapers in the way that the UK does. So we're fortunate in that regard. And I've been the editor now since 2022. I was a Fleet Street journalist before that for 20 years. I then spent a bit of time in prison myself, and having come out, I'm now in this unique role where I am able to use my journalism expertise, my prison expertise, and we've got other ex-prisoners on the staff of the paper, which is important, I think, because it's quite a unique experience being in prison, and you need to know what you're talking about. So yeah, we go from strength to strength. I think every issue we're bringing in new features, new ideas, and the feedback we get from our readers, is very, very positive. A lot of prisoners write to us. They send us their letters. They send us their poems. They send us their raps, and they tell us that we're very valuable, which keeps us going.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think there were two or three things that I really would like to pick up on from what I heard you say. And firstly, you're absolutely right. I mean, I go into prisons quite a lot and I work with groups of men and we train them in the dialogue roadmap. But, often they'll be talking about, has the new Inside Time come out? Is it out yet? Is it on the wing? They'll refer to articles, and perhaps in the training, if I say things that hit on a note, I'll hear, yeah, somebody wrote about that in Inside Time. And so it is a dedicated readership, um, especially as it's a print. It's a printed. It's a tangible asset, isn't it?
Well, that's very much we're one of the few papers that are still largely going in print, and obviously throughout the newspaper industry, the last 20 years have been a time of huge turmoil as readerships go online and onto smartphones. In prisons, largely most prisons have no in-cell tech, and they still read us on in print form on the paper. That is changing a little bit slowly and rather belatedly, but the prison system is catching up with tech. And nowadays, about 15,000 readers in England and Wales prisons do read us, do have in-cell launchpad technology, which is provided by the prison service. And those prisons where that does exist, they have the choice of reading us on paper or electronically. And a lot of them do choose to read electronically. I was in Swaleside prison just before Christmas, and speaking to some guys who are long-term prisoners there who'd long read the paper on paper format. And I said to them, "Do you still read the paper?" They said, "Oh no, we prefer to get it in our cells now and on our screens." So and we're on Launchpad. We're also on Coracle uh, devices that some prisoners have, and in some private prisons we're on their systems that they have. So it's a bit of both, but still majority of it is print, and we take great care and attention over our print issue because that's the way that most readers see us.
Absolutely. And then you talked about employing people with lived experience and that you actually have some lived experience yourself and how important that is because again, for people that don't have anything to do with prisons and incarceration and the way we lock people up and the way we push people through a so-called justice system. I think it's really important because there's a whole language, isn't there? There's a sort of jargon, there's a language, there's a whole kind of protocol, there's a whole way things should be, and then there's the way things really are, and all those unfairnesses and niggles and upsets and, as you said, complaints. And I think it's really important to be able to communicate with people from the place that they're at. And I noticed that Inside Time does that.